Since I have joined the community and have joined the mastermind as well, I have far more structure, and from finding deals to getting them funded, all the way to renting them out or selling them has been such an eye opener.
If you're a real estate investor and are wondering how to raise and leverage private money to make more profit on every deal, then you're in the right place. On Raising Private Money, we'll speak with new and seasoned investors to dissect their deals and extract the best tips and strategies to help you get the money, because the money comes first. Now here's your host, Jay Conner.
Welcome to another amazing episode of Raising Private Money. I'm Jay Conner, your host, and on this show, we talk about how to raise private money for your real estate deals without ever having to ask for money. Well, today, my guest, he's going to pull the curtain back and share with you exactly how he goes about raising private money for his real estate deals without having to ask for money. Now, to date, and he really just started, to date, he's raised about $300,000 in private money, and he's got another $30,000, another $100,000 right around the corner of new private lenders that are coming on. So he's pretty close already to $500,000 and really just sort of got started. Well, he got his background, his career was actually in the electric utility industry. He did that for 10 years until he discovered real estate. So he actually started in the real estate industry back in 2021. And after starting on his own and really not trying to get any help, he realized that that was not the way to go. So what did he do? He got a real estate investing coach. Well, his motto, his business motto is, and I love this, quote unquote, it starts with people and it ends with people. Well, he's got three primary programs, and here they are. He's got his private lending program, his foreclosure mitigation program, and his rent to own program. Now, his passion is actually educating people on how they can use their investment capital or their retirement accounts or previous 401ks to invest safely and securely without having the hassle of all the landlord headaches and achieve incredibly high rates of return that's all backed by real estate. What he tells his private lenders is all you got to do is just sit back and collect the checks. So he aims to transform lives and provide affordable housing one door at a time, and he does that on his rent to own program. You see, my guest helps people who cannot buy or sell a home traditionally. With the help of private lenders, he's able to help them move to the next stage of their life. In just a moment, you're going to meet my very special guest, Pablo Villa-Martinez. Welcome to the show, Pablo.
Hi, Jay. I appreciate you having me on here.
Absolutely. Here's my question. How hot is it in Texas? That's what I want to know.
It is too hot. I'm sitting in my room with AC and I'm still sweating.
Well, I actually didn't have to ask you that question because my wife, Carol Joy, and we just got back home last night from going down to Possum Kingdom Lake in Texas. And 11 of us family members got together. We did a bunch of singing, a bunch of eating and laughing our heads off. We had the best time. So, yes, I know Texas is still there. I just got back last night. Now, tell everybody, where in Texas are you located?
So I'm near Possum Kingdom too. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas, a little town called Saginaw. That's North Fort Worth.
There you go. As a matter of fact, my Carol Joy's, some of her family members are from Saginaw, Texas. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's dive in, Pablo, and talk about private money, how you go about raising private money from individuals. So we're talking not hard money here. We're talking about you're doing business with individuals that are using their investment capital, or maybe they're using retirement funds. Maybe they're using a previous 401k that they had, and they're just not happy with those returns. So we want to talk about, first of all, step by step, how you go about raising private money, what's your philosophy. And then we're going to talk about how it is and how it's so lucrative for your private lenders and investors to actually do business with you. So now you told me in the past that you actually started in real estate back in 2021. by accident. How did you start by accident?
Oh, that's a story in itself. I started accidentally simply because I lived in a town called Midland, Texas. That's West Texas, next to Odessa, for those who don't know. I lived there for almost 17 years. I went to school there. From there, I went to Texas Tech. And when I got out of Texas Tech, I graduated and I lived back there and I started working the electric utility business. From there, I worked in that company for about 10 years. And about 3 years ago at this point, I got an opportunity to move within the company itself from the role I had as a project manager to a new role I have as a scheduled analyst, is what it was called. And from there, everything happened real fast. I wanted a house over here. I could afford it. I was able to afford it. And when I moved, I ended up needing to either sell the house or rent it out. And the best choice that we had that fit what we needed to was just renting it out. From there, once I had the house here, I was able to get that house rented out within about 2 or 3 weeks of me putting on the market with the help of a great realtor. And from there, it was honestly just one of the best experiences because I started understanding what property management was, and I got free money too after all my expenses were paid. And that's how I got into it accidentally, just because I had to move and live here in Fort Worth.
There you go. There you go. So when did you start in looking to invest in real estate? And you were doing it on your own. You were working on finding deals on your own, and you really hadn't gotten any coaching or professional education on real estate investing. What year did you start that?
That was probably early to mid 2022 when I started actually deciding that I was going to be in real estate investing as a future career in a sense.
Hmm.
Beforehand, I was trying to do what everybody else did: look for a property, buy it with a down payment, with the bank, and try and rent it out as best as possible. But once I found that, I started looking into communities, get a part of more real estate groups here locally in the Fort Worth area, and from there, I just dove into it. That was the water hose stage, learning everything I could from what wholesaling was to what fix and flip more entailed, all of that.
Okay. I want you to describe what was your real estate investing business looking like before the world of private money.
I would say it was a little non-existent. It was more me doing it as a hobby, which I didn't realize at the time. I had a one-track mindset in terms of what real estate investing was, which was just getting a property, renting it out as best as I could, and getting cash flow out of that property. Since I have joined the community and I've joined the mastermind as well, I have far more structure. And from finding deals to getting them funded, all the way to renting them out or selling them, has been such an eye opener.
Excellent. And of course, what community are you referring to?
Jay Connor, where's the money? Where's the private money?
Yeah, you are in our top elite group, which is the mastermind membership, the mastermind family, and you really are. You're knocking it out of the park. You're getting things done. You've already raised around $300,000. You're pretty close to the next couple of private lenders at $500,000. So so prior to coming into the world of private money and raising private money, I think you said it was your business is like pretty non-existent. So how is it that private money is now like changing the landscape of your business? What is it that private money and having that available is going to allow you to now do that you couldn't do before?
I love that you asked that. One of the biggest changes is working with banks. One of the biggest concerns I had starting out was I need to buy a property, right? Everybody has that thought, but how do we get it funded? I went to banks, and each bank wanted me to put more than 10% down. On average, it was about 20%. I have a 401k and I have money saved, but I didn't have enough for consistent property overflow to purchase properties like that. That is a big limiting factor from the banks. And not to mention, they were limiting as well. I can only have a certain amount. With private money, it's really opened up everything to the point where I can have money behind me to make great offers, quick offers that are very motivating to sellers who need them. And I have a lot more to work with. I don't have a limit to the properties themselves.
So it really does put you in the driver's seat of your business. You can have an unlimited amount of private money. You can have an unlimited amount of private lenders.
Hmm.
And you were mentioning down payments. So contrast the bank's model of where you got to be bringing 10% or 20% down. The way you're doing private money and structuring deals, uh, what kind of down payment are you having to put down?
Zero, no down payment. Once a lender tells me how much they want to work with, I take that amount and I find a property that fits with the safety and security that my program offers. And I'm able to use that, whether it's a rehab or purchase amount.
Excellent. So you talk about your private lenders being safe and secure. Talk through that. How is it that your private lenders are safe and secure?
Well, my private lending program kind of teaches you how to be the bank. And it does that by educating you on not just the documents necessary that a bank would use in case things happen, but also the security of a very conservative loan to value ratio, which to me is never above 75%. So when I look at properties, as an example, a property of 200,000, I would never borrow from a lender more than 150,000. That's built there for protection for myself and the lender themselves. What also gives protection too is making sure that everything is written correctly on the promissory note that has all the terms, all the details of our deal, as well as the most important piece, which is the deed of trust. That is what I use to make sure it collateralizes the loan to the property. So in the event anything ever happens to me, the property itself can pay them back in spades. Additionally, I have two other provisions as well, which are marking the private lender as the mortgagee on the home insurance, which, God forbid, if anything ever happened to the property itself when it's being rented out, they themselves will get paid first, and the insurance would be up to the value of the house, not just the amount being lent. So they'll get everything in full plus interest. The last piece of that too comes to the title insurance, where they're marked as the additional insured as well, and that protects them from any liens, anyone coming after them claiming that the house is theirs, or other events like that.
So you are not borrowing unsecured funds, right?
Correct. Everything is secured by the property.
Well, and that's very, very important. I mean, you could be borrowing unsecured funds. You could just be doing a promissory note, but you're not doing that. You're backing all the private lenders' promissory notes with the real estate that you are purchasing and that you are investing in. And as you mentioned, they're named as the mortgagee on the insurance policy. Um, Another way that you protect them, Pablo, is it's a matter of fact as to where do they send their funds when they are actually loaning you money and investing in a deal.
I'm glad you bring that part up. When people send me money, they don't send me, Pablo, or my business money. Where it goes to is the title company or the real estate attorney I'm using. It goes strictly to them, so I don't touch the money at all. That goes to the property itself. That is made sure that everything is marked according to where it needs to be. In terms of everything's legal, everything's documented. We know where every penny goes, and we know where it's going to go. And the paperwork itself is also done by professionals, the title companies I use, or the real estate attorneys as well, depending on the situation. I don't want to do the paperwork. I don't want to mess it up, and I don't want to put somebody else in a bad situation.
Same as me, Pablo. We have two different audiences that are listening to this show. We have people here that are listening that are like you. They're real estate investors. They want to have more funding for their deals. And we have another part of the audience, which are individuals that would love to just be passive investors and, not have to find deals, not have to negotiate deals. They just want to be passive, sit back, and get, high rates of return safely and securely. So let's speak to the audience of real estate investors for another minute, and then we'll speak more to those that want to be passive and I actually could do business with you and be a passive investor and just like your other private lenders, sit back and just get high rates of return, and they're all protected. What are your favorite ways so far to go about raising private money, raising capital without having to ask anybody for money?
Honestly, it all starts with just talking out loud and starting to post more about what private lending is, and it turns into an education moment. I was able to get a dinner last week with a buddy from the gym who saw one of my posts that I post on Instagram that I didn't think nothing of, and it caught his attention. He saw the interest rates I put on there from a website called bankrate.com. I showed CDs, the current CD rate, checking, regular savings accounts, and I think I had one other. And on the bottom, I put my private lending program, and I put ask how and higher returns. And because of that simple post, I was able to speak with him, and he may be a potential lender in the near future.
I love it.
I was gonna say another one as well is not just speaking out loud, but joining groups. The groups I've been a part of, Business Networking International and the Rotary Club, have been pretty helpful too in terms of just what you can give back and how much you're able to be of service to those people and making sure that you can get their money to grow stress free.
Now, you just mentioned this post that you did, and you were posting rates and savings account rates and et cetera. What kind of rates were you able to post on that post that showed, what is really going on out there right now in the real world?
Last week, it was the highest one was a high yield checking account, which was like 4.5%. The CD was slightly below that one. It was like 4.25%, and then the checking was less than that as well. Mm-hmm. And it caught my buddy's attention, and he really wanted to talk about that.
Right. And what was your call to action on the post?
Ask me how. Ask me how to do it, and I will tell you exactly how you can do that safely and securely.
I did. I put a post on Instagram. I guess it was day before yesterday, and it was a reel. It was a short, and I was just talking about how private money works, and how my private lenders are getting really, really high rates of return. And an individual I've never talked to about private money. He's actually in his 20s, and he just graduated, got his license as a chiropractor, and he's in the process of opening up a new practice. And so he sends me a text. He says, "Hey, I just saw you post on Instagram about private money. We need to talk." Now, you see, I don't know yet if he's got investment capital he wants to invest, or he wants to raise private money. I don't know which way that conversation is going to go. But the fact remains, there's so much power in social media. And, some folks have got a concern about the SEC and what you can say and what you can't say, on social media. One of my favorite types of posts to put on social media, if you're a real estate investor and you're looking to raise, more private money or capital, is people love to see what kind of projects or what kind of houses that you're doing. So you can simply post a picture of a finished house that you've done, one that's finished, and you can say, "Hey, here's the price that I bought it for. Here's the purchase price. Here's what I'm selling it for." And you can put down, and here's how much money. Don't put a percentage rate. But you say, "Here's how much money my private lender made." And then I love this call to action. Want to talk money? ? And then put DM me, right? Direct message me. And so you're not soliciting. You're just talking shop and talking about how you do the business. And that is an example, Pablo, of one of the social media posts and type of media posts that I like to do.
I'm gonna have to steal that one. That one's a good one.
So yeah, well, hey, look, you can make it your own. So I asked you your favorite ways about going about raising private money. You said joining groups, networking, and etc. And you also, you also do events. In fact, you got an event coming up this afternoon in just a few hours. So tell people about the events that you have done or you are doing and how they can actually join that event that you got going on this afternoon.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I am doing a live social media event. It's just a webinar. It is on my Facebook, it's on my Instagram, and it's on my LinkedIn as well. And what I'm going to talk about essentially is just how you can become the bank. I go over the principles of my private lending program and how that's beneficial to someone who just wants to earn that mailbox money without breaking a sweat. And I also have other events I've done too. So I've had a private lender dinner where I've invited people here where I live at who are interested and I bring them out to a hotel conference room. I bring them dinner. Last time I brought Saltgrass Steakhouse for those who like that. And I treat them out to 30 minutes of eating, and I end it with 30 minutes of my presentation about the private lending program and why it's beneficial. And for those who are interested, I'm having another one. It's going to be next month. It's going to be on August 29th. That's a Thursday. And if you're interested, send me a DM on any of my social medias, which should be, I think, in the descriptions. Thank you. And let me know. I'll be glad to have you there. And at minimal, I can give you some great foods you can eat and enjoy your dinner.
Excellent. So I want to go over all of your social here. So on Facebook, if you prefer Facebook, then go to Facebook and search for Pablo, Pablo, Pablo dot Villa-Martinez. And if you're on Instagram, just search for Villa, as in Villa, Villa-Martinez Pablo, Villa-Martinez Pablo. You can find him easily there. And then if you happen to prefer to be on LinkedIn, you can locate him at his name, Pablo Villa-Martinez, all one word. So exactly what time is that this afternoon that you're going live?
It's going to be 7 p.m. Central.
7 p.m. Central, which will be 8 p.m. Eastern. I can't think Central. I got to think Eastern. So 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central. All right, that's perfect. All right, thanks for sharing that. So you got your private lending program. And again, anybody listening to this show, particularly if you're listening live, check out Pablo later on today and go. About how long will that presentation go, Pablo?
It should be about 30 to 45 minutes. And I'm really just going to educate on how to avoid the headaches of being a landlord or managing contractors and learning how to be the bank in that case.
Sure. And what you mean by learning how to be the bank is, as an individual private lender, you just loan money out and you just sit back and collect the returns without having to do any of the traditional real estate investing work.
Absolutely.
And when you listen to this podcast, of course, if you're listening to the podcast, Pablo's presentation will be finished. You can still DM him, direct message him on any of his social media, and Pablo can get you a link to that. I guess you're going to be doing that. Are you going to be doing that on Zoom? No, you'll be doing it on your social media, I suppose.
Yes.
But you'll be able, are you recording it?
It'll be recorded, so if people do miss it and they do want to get it later on, I will have it to where I can send it to them at a later time if they DM me.
Excellent. So that's your private lending program. Let's talk a minute about your foreclosure mitigation program. What's that about and how does that work?
So what I do in this case is I have a foreclosure mitigation. And what that really is people face the stress sometimes. There's hospital bills, there's things sometimes that stop people from being able to pay their mortgage, and sometimes even worse, not pay for groceries or pay their utilities as well. In those cases, I reach out to the people who have been given a notice of sale by the trustees here in Tarrant County, and I walk them through the options on how they can keep their house. There's about 6 different options that I typically go through that average out to about 6, and I make sure that they can understand what those options are, find where they can get the cash if they need it, or work on teach them how to be able to open up and have that conversation with friends or family if they have people who can help them out. Additionally, I give them resources such as local attorneys here, real estate attorneys, or bankruptcy attorneys as well that can help them out in that case as well. I set it up to where I can always be of service to them so they can keep their house as best as possible and move forward with what they need to in life. And with the help of private money, that can help out in the cases where they would need to sell, where I can take some of the equity of the house and give it to them in their pocket so they can move forward in their life.
So you're really creating win-win scenarios with these people that are facing foreclosure.
Yes. And with the help of the lenders behind me, we are truly changing lives a door at a time.
I love it. And then you've got your rent-to-own program. What is that and how does that work?
So the rent-to-own program happens when I do a flip with private money and the lender themselves would like the money to continue moving forward. Or if the market isn't perfect, I switch strategies. Instead of working with people who can afford a traditional mortgage, I switch it and I aim for people who do not and cannot afford a traditional mortgage. They have a good job, they have good things going on, but for one case or another, something happened in their life that they just cannot afford a traditional mortgage. In this case, I work with them. They give a small down payment, and it works to where they are more concerned with the small down payment and the monthly amount they would pay. They're not too concerned with the full amount of the property. They are able to live in there for from 2 years to up to 5 years, and from there, if they want to purchase the property, they have the right to do so, unless they want to go somewhere else.
Well, it seems to me that all of your programs, private lending, foreclosure mitigation, rent to own, it's all starting out with serving the other person and putting their needs first. Is that right?
That is right. That's what I have my motto. It starts with people and it ends with people.
Yeah, I shared that in the introduction, and I love that motto. And Pablo, I know you. I've been around you, and I know you live by that motto. Have you made a mistake when it comes to raising private money that you could share with the audience from the standpoint of if there's a real estate investor, or a want to be real estate investor and they want to raise private money, but they haven't started? Is there a mistake you've made when you started out raising private money that you'd say, look, don't do it that way or don't have that mindset, but because of what I've learned, do it this way?
Tons of mistakes. Mistake number one, don't talk about it. People will always be interested as long as you are willing to help them out and be of service to them. When I first started out, I was scared to talk about it. I didn't think it was something I could bring up. I didn't know how to bring it up until I learned how to make it more educational. That was the biggest mistake, just not talking about it. Number two is not believing that you can help somebody out with it. You have the opportunity. And you have not just the opportunity, but the business model that's going to bring the best opportunity possible to this person who has investment capital lying around, not making any kind of interest rates that they like. So it is your responsibility and your opportunity to help them out to grow where they need to go. So those are two of the biggest mistakes: not talking about it and not believing in it.
How did you overcome the first one of not talking about it?
When I started realizing that it was a true opportunity, that's when I started being able to speak about it more and realizing that no matter where I'm at, whether I'm on a plane, whether I'm out at a store, at the gym, people want to invest. And sometimes it's not always the topic that people bring up initially, but when you are talking to somebody and getting to know them, people will bring up stocks or people will bring up anything else. People want their wealth to grow. So as long as you're around the right people and you know that your opportunity is as higher than you can do for the stocks, then that's how I overcame it, essentially. Just learning that my opportunity has significant impact on their life.
I appreciate you sharing that. Well, one more time, I want to share with everyone your social media contacts. Remind everybody tonight live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. But even if you miss out on that, here are Pablo's connections. So on LinkedIn, it's just his name, all one word, Pablo Villa-Martinez. Pablo Villa-Martinez, that's on LinkedIn. And then on Instagram, he is Villa-Martinez Pablo. Somebody else must have had your name, or I know you would have done it the other way. But on Instagram, it's Villa-Martinez Pablo. And then on his other social media, Facebook, it's Pablo.Villa-Martinez. Pablo, thank you so much for joining me here on the show today.
Thank you for having me. This has been super exciting. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And best of luck on a very successful presentation on your live social media live streaming later on this evening.
Thank you so much, Jay. I'll see you later.
All right. See you later, Pablo. There you have it. Another amazing episode of Raising Private Money. I'm Jay Connor, the Private Money Authority. I really appreciate your feedback. So if you got some value out of this show, and I'm sure you did, be sure and rate us and leave us a review, like us, share us. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure and subscribe and click that bell. I look forward to seeing you right here on the next episode of Raising Private Money.
Are you feeling inspired by the knowledge you gained in this episode? Then head over to jconner.com/money guide. That's JCONNER.com/money guide. And download your free guide that shares 7 reasons why private money will skyrocket your real estate investing business right now. Again, that's jconner.com/money guide to get your free guide. We'll see you next time on Raising Private Money with Jay Connor.